On the practice worksheet, it's all about systems. So we are going to be doing a lot of systems problems. But I think a lot of you did really well over the last 2 days, and systems are definitely really big kid math. So as you guys were mastering those skills, you should feel really good about yourself because it's a tough concept. The first one says the system of equations has how many solutions? And so let's go ahead and take a look at our practice. Question 1 and question 8 and question 10 are like all the same question. So when we solve systems, we get 3 types of solutions. We either get one solution, no solutions, or infinitely many solutions. So if you have 3 problems on your practice worksheet, you're probably going to have one of each of them. So keep that in mind as you are taking your quiz as well. To check these, remember we can take and we can figure out what the slope and the y-intercept are. So to figure out the slope, we're going to cover up our x, or cover up the y, cover up the x. We're going to figure out what is x, what is y. So for the top equation, we get x is equal to, if we covered up y, we would get -12 divided by 4. I'm waiting on y'all. So if we cover up the y, we get -12 divided by 4. -3, very good. And if we cover up the x, we get -12 divided by -3. Negative divided by a negative would be a positive 4. Good job. We can go ahead and figure out x and y. We could go ahead and look at x and y for the second one. Negative divided by negative, so the x will be positive. 24 divided by 8, 3. And then we get -24 divided by 6, -4. I'm glad that Julia is awake this morning, but I need to hear from the rest of you. We can take this and we can figure out our slope. To figure out our slope, we can always do y over x. So slope is equal to y over x. So the slope for the top one would be 4 over -3. The slope for the second one would be -4 over 3. Y'all need to know that that's the same thing as pulling the negative out in front. So they actually are both the same thing. What about the y-intercepts? Are they the same or different? Different. Different y-intercepts. So that means that we get a situation like this. You were right. We've got 2 different y-intercepts, but they have the same slope. So you get a situation like that where you have parallel lines and there's no solution. Well, this is really fresh in our mind. Let's skip over and do the next 2 problems that are just like this. So the next question that's just like this is question number 8. So question number 8, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to figure out our x's and our y's. So the top one, we're going to get them and they're going to both be positive because the whole top is positive. So they're always going to be the same values. We get 12 divided by 4, so that's 3. 12 divided by 3, and that's 4. Did you have a question? Because I want to make sure you get it answered before the quiz.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it like different.
I'm doing it the same, so I'll show you up on the board because I can't cover up what I'm doing when I'm doing it over here. What I'm doing to figure out these values, to figure out for the top one, to figure out my X value, I cover up Y. And so if I cover up Y, it's 12 divided by 4, which means 3. And then to figure out my Y value, I cover up X. So 12 divided by 3, and that gives me 4. Does that make sense? And it will be the same on your quiz where you have the same values. You're going to get 3s and 4s. Really, you're just checking, is it going to be a positive or is it going to be a negative? Okay, did y'all get the same thing for your X's and your Y's? Where they're both 3s and 4s, but the second equation, the Y is negative. So for the top one, your slope ends up being 4 over 3. For the bottom one, you get negative 4 over 3. So it looks like to me that we have a different y-intercept and a different slope. And so if you need to visualize that, then you can think about in the coordinate plane, we've got one that's going to have, or they're going to have different y-intercepts and they have different slopes. So you can even draw lines where they're just a different slope. One of them is positive and one of them is negative. So what kind of solution are we going to have? 0, 1, or infinitely many? 1. We'll have one solution. And then we have one more, question 10, that's just like this. So I'm going to do it up on the board. You do it on your paper. Let's make sure we get the same answers. I would just be quick so you don't miss any of the practice. So did y'all figure out the same thing, that you end up with the same y-intercept and the same slope? Very good job. Very good job. So when you have the same y-intercept and the same slope, what you end up with is actually the exact same line, and there are infinitely many solutions. So if I was you, when you get to your first question and you're working that problem, I would do the other ones that are just like it to make sure that you're not getting the same answer over and over again. All right, we're gonna back up and go back to question number 2. Question number 2 says, if x plus y is equal to 24 and y is equal to 5x, what is the value of y? So if we want to find the value of y, but what we're given is that piece right there, we can take that and plug it in for y. So we can plug that in and rewrite it. So now we have just one variable, and when you have just one variable, then you can solve. So that x in the beginning is like a 1x, so we could put them together. 1x and 5x is 6x's. So from here, I can divide by 6. So what is x equal? 4, very good. But the question isn't asking us for what is x, it's asking for the value of y. So we have to take that x and you can plug it into either equation. You don't have to plug it into both equations. Either equation, if I plugged it into the first one, it's x plus y is 24. So if you plug it in, you get 4 plus y is equal to 24. Well, what plus 4 is 24? 20. Y is equal to 20. That is what the problem is asking. What is y? So if you flip your paper over, you have another question that's like just like this. So if we go to question number 7, it's almost the same. It says if x plus y is equal to 30 and x is equal to 4y, what's the value of x? We're going to solve it the same way. A lot of what we do in here is repetition. So the more times we do something, the more likely we are to remember it. So for this one, it says x is equal to 4y. So I can take that and I can plug it in for y again. And we have to remember that our answer is trying to figure out what is x equal. So I'm going to do this one up on the board. Let's see if you can do this one. It's the same skill. And this is on the back. This is question number 7. Yes. I don't know why I plugged it in like that. Is it still early in the morning? I am going to take this and I'm going to plug it in for x. There. For x, sorry, for y. Still getting it. There we go. 5y is equal to 30. And then we divide by I plugged it into the wrong one. So I get y is equal to 6. I wasn't done. I wasn't done yet. I knew we had a second step, but I wanted to make sure that everybody got to this part the right way, not the wrong way. So if you were copying me, you did it wrong. Now what do I do? Yeah, I'm going to plug that 6 in, and it doesn't really matter which equation I plug it into. This time I'll plug it into the second one. It says x is equal to 4y, so x is equal to 4 times 6. What is 4 times 6? What is 4 times 6? 24. So again, you can plug it into either equation. This time I plugged it into the second equation. On the last problem, I plugged it in the first equation just to show you, you can plug it into either one. It doesn't really matter. So you will have a couple problems like this on your quiz. When you go do one of them, you can go and do the other one right away because they work out just the same. Don't make my mistake, please. So now we're back at question number 3. Question number 3 says, the two lines given by the equations below intersect the XY plane. What's the value of the Y coordinate of the point of intersection? That sounds really confusing. But all we're doing is solving for Y. And for this one, we know what X equals, so we can take that and we can plug it in right there. I'm going to rewrite that equation. So I rewrote it, and all I did was take that X and plug it in. So now in our equation, we have Y. We want Y. Sometimes it's a good idea to highlight whatever it is that you're looking for. We're looking for the value of the Y coordinate. So solving for Y, we're going to have to do 3 times 3. What is that? 9. This is a 2-step equation. I want Y all by itself. I have to first take care of the addition subtraction. So I have to take care of the 9 first. So it's a positive 9 on this side. So I will have to subtract 9. Don't lose the negative on the Y. So 15 minus 9, what is that? 6. And then I have one last step. I'm multiplying by -2. So I need to divide by -2. What is 6 divided by -2? What do we get? -3. Very good. Hmm? The next question, this is one similar to what we did last class. It says, an apartment building contains 12 units consisting of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. They rent for $360 and $450 per month, respectively. Remember, respectively just means the first thing goes with the first, second thing goes with the second. So 1 bedrooms are $360, 2 bedrooms are $450. When all the units are rented, the total monthly rental is $4,680. So what is the number of 2-bedroom apartments? So our answer, we're figuring out which one could be 2 bedrooms. So we have to come up with variables for 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom. 1 bedroom, I don't want to use 0 because 0 looks like a number. So for 1 bedrooms, I could use N. And then I don't like using T, only because T starts looking like a plus sign. So for 2 bedrooms, I'll use a W. you can use whatever you want, but those are just the variables that I will use. And I try not to use X and Y because I want it to be meaningful for the two different things. So we know that we have 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom apartments. And how many apartments do we have total? First sentence, 12. So we have 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, and we have 12 total. So we have 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, and there are 12 units total. So last time when we did these problems, I said the money will always go with the money. So 1 bedrooms, it says that they are 360. So we're going to rewrite this 360 for the 1 bedrooms, and then 450 for the 2 bedrooms. And what's the total money? Mm-hmm. So just writing the equations, it will always be, it adds up to the total amount of something. And then the other one is with money, the money amount of something. So our answer choices, we want, they're saying which ones are 2 bedrooms. So this is saying that W equals 8, 6, 4, 2. So when we check our equation, we're going to be plugging in different 1 bedrooms. And so we had to figure out for this one, 8 and what would give me 12? 8 plus what would give me 12? 4, let's figure out the other. 6 plus what gives me 12? 6. 4 plus what gives me 12? 8. And 2 plus what gives me 12? 10. So now we have our 2 values that we're going to take and we're going to plug them in to my money equation. And I'm going to keep doing this until I figure out which one gives me $4,680. So for the first one, I got to be careful because the W is listed first and then the N. So it will be 360, and I got to put the 4 in first. And then the 8 in second. And I'm trying to see, does that equal 4,680? So y'all type it in and tell me what you get. We want to see if it equals 4,680. Did y'all get a value for the first one? Bless you. Sonia, what you get? It's okay. I already messed up on the board and I'm the teacher.
I got 5,000.
That's correct. So 50, 40, that is not correct. Can't be answer choice A. It's got to be 4,680. So let's do it again. And remember, we got to switch places. Well, I guess when you're doing 6, it doesn't matter. Alex, what did you get for the second one? Or Alex L? For B? Look at your paper. What'd you get? Eric, what did you get for the second one?
4,000.
What'd you get? That's what I got. And originally I circled that answer and then I realized, oh, that's actually not right because I was reading it quick. Sometimes we see what we want to see really close, but that is not correct. So 4,860 instead of 680. So we got to do it again. Is that what you got, Alex? And then you just jotted it down wrong? Yeah. So just be careful. I don't think that the one that I gave you to do is like that, where it just happens to work out so closely. Avery, you still with me, buddy? Mm-hmm. David, what'd you get for this one? Come on, have confidence. What'd you get? What'd you get, Logan?
For 4,680.
Did anybody else get that? 4,680. So does this, the third one, does it work? Yeah, so you can circle C and move on with your life. You don't have to check all of them if you find the one that works. That one works. All right, the next question. The next question says, in the XY plane, the lines y is equal to negative 2x plus 2 and y is equal to 3x minus 3 intersect at what point? I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it's hard to do this problem without a graph. Do you see a graph on your paper? There isn't going to be one on the quiz either. There isn't a graph on this question as TSI either. However, whether or not you're taking the quiz or test with me or taking the TSI, I will always have available to you graph paper. So what I'm going to do is I will pass out some graph paper, which means that you'll have enough to do this problem on the practice and the problem that's on the quiz. So you really only need one side for one and one side for the other. So Logan, you can start taking one and pass it on. So you can jot down on your little graph paper, you can jot down, one will be for the practice and one will be for the quiz. You can just flip it over and use the other side. So take one and pass it on. And again, you are always welcome to ask me for a piece of craft paper if you feel like that graphing something would be easier. Even if the problem doesn't give you one. Did you get one? Who else needs one of these? Okay. So you're going to have answer choices. And to pick the right answer choice, I encourage you to graph the lines. So the first line, it says y equals -2x, which is the same thing as -2/1 plus 2. So I'm going to go put a point at +2. And then it says my slope is down 2 because it's -2. And then over 1. And I'm going to do that a couple of times. I'm also going to go the other direction. And then I will connect dots. For my second line, it's y is equal to 3, which is the same thing as 3/1, minus 3. So I'm going to go down to -3 and put a point. My slope is 3/1. So I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. I didn't have to go very far to figure out where my lines intersect. Can you see where the two lines intersect? How do we name that point? Remember, it's going to be x, y. So how far do we go in the x direction? Okay, how far up and down do we go? Very good. Again, this is a hard question to answer on the quiz unless you actually graph them. Your graph's not going to have a grid there. So use your little slip of paper. Sonia, do you have a question about graphing lines?
Well, it's gonna be way too fast.
You want me to talk through graphing the lines? I'll show you up on the board. So just watch what I'm doing. So the first one, it says y is equal to -2. Anytime that you have a whole number, you can always put it over 1. So that's the same thing I did over here. So -2x plus 2. So that part tells me the y-intercept, or where I go put a dot along this y-axis. So if it's at 2, then I go from the 0, I go up to 2 and I put a point. from there, I'm gonna do whatever it tells me here. So the negative part tells me go down. So it goes down 2 and then over 1. So I will go down 2 and then over 1. And I could go down 2 again, over 1 a couple of times. I can also go the opposite direction to continue my line. And then I connect it. And so for the second one, my y-intercept is the last part. So it says it's at -3. So I come over here at -3 and I put a dot. And then the slope is 3 over 1. So I will go, and it's positive. So I go up 3 and then over 1, up 3 and then over 1. I already see that my lines intersect. So that's the answer. You're just trying to find the point where they intersect. Are we good with the front page?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. How about some more emoji Pictionary Disney movies? How do you think y'all will do? I think y'all will do good. Aladdin. Some of them are really simple. Alex knows all of them. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Move on.
Mm-hmm. I think I heard you say.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That one I think might be Finding Dory, actually. I feel like that there might be. I think that the answer to the last one was Finding Dory. Okay, we're gonna flip on to the back. But good news, because we already did 2 problems on the back, so we don't add as much as we think. Actually, we already did 3 problems on the back. So question number 6, it says, the graph of which of the following is a straight line that's parallel to the graph of y is equal to 3x? What do we know about parallel lines? How does the slope relate? So we're trying to find which one is a line that is parallel. So what do we know about the slopes of parallel lines? Yes, they are the same. So they are going to have the same slope. So we're going to have to go through here and we're going to have to figure out which one of these answers has the same slope. So to figure this out, we can do the same thing that we've been doing, where we cover up the y, we figure out the x. We cover up the x, we figure out the y. So we're going to use the answer choices to help us figure this out. So what is -27 divided by 9? It's going to be negative. Very good. And then we need to figure out y. So that will be -27 divided by 3. It'll be negative. -9. Okay, if I figured out my slope, it'd be -9 divided by 3. Does that reduce? what's -9 divided by 3? -3. Is that the same thing as that? No, so it's not A. All right, let's check answer choice B. So we're going to see our X's, the X's. These are all both going to be positive for my X and my Y. So 27 divided by 3, we've already done that. 27 divided by 3, that is 9. And 27 divided by 9, that is 3. If we figure out the slope, it's 3/9, or 1/3. Is that the same? No. Let's look at the next one. Hold on, it can't be any of the other ones. Why could it not be C or D? Anybody know why it couldn't be C or D? Because what? Because we would get an answer that would be negative. So what we're going to do, because we're going to put a little negative in front of the D. So when we looked at these our answer choice A was almost, because we got -3. So 3 is a good value. And we got 3 as a value when we had 9 and then 3 and then 27. So in those same positions, 9 and 3 and 27, that's good for us. But we need it to be a +3. So we're going to add a little negative in front of our 9. So now when we check it, we should get the same values. 27 divided by -9, that would be -3. 27 divided by -3, that's -9. So when we find our slope, we get -9 divided by -3, that will be +3 is our answer. And that one is the same. Yay. You're trying to find the one that has the same slope. So we already did question number 7, so we are good there. We already did question 8, so we're good there. On to question number 9. And this is our last one, actually. The sum of two numbers is 10, and the difference is 6. What is the smaller number? Does anybody struggle with these? Some people are really good at them, and they can do like puzzles in their head, and some people really struggle. Who really struggles with this type of problem? Yeah, they're kind of confusing. So it says the sum of two numbers. Well, we've got two numbers. We can call them whatever we want to. They could be A and B. So when we add them up, they're going to equal 10. When we subtract them, they're going to equal 6. So the question is asking us for the smaller number. We're going to do this kind of like we did with the apartment. So if 8 is one of the numbers and they have to add up to be 10. So 8 plus what gives me 10? And we're saying that this should be smaller. 6 plus what gives you 10? 4 plus what gives you 10? And 2 plus what gives you 10? And just looking at that, there are two answer choices that don't even make sense because the answer choice plus something that equals 10 isn't going to give you that as a smaller number. So when you look at choice A, if it's saying these have to be smaller numbers, is 8 smaller than 2? No, so A can't even work. And what about B? No, so the only two even possibilities would be 4 or 2. So now what we're going to see is which one has a difference of 6. So if you subtracted it, and you got to start with a bigger number. So 6 minus 4, does that give you 6? Or does 8 minus 2 give you 6? 8 minus 2, that will give you 6. So D is the one that works. So I encourage you to do the same thing to set up, to figure out, okay, if I made these pairs, is the numbers that they're giving me, are they actually smaller? But you want to read carefully because your quiz might say which one is the bigger number. So just be careful. And that is it.